Hi, and welcome to another edition of Bauer Business Bites. My name is David Tighe, the Managing Director of Bauer Media here in Northern Ireland. And I'm really delighted to welcome our guest this week. It's Professor Siobhan O'Neill, who is the Interim Mental Health Champion for Northern Ireland. Siobhan, welcome to Business Bites.
Thank you, David. It's just lovely to be here, and thanks for inviting me on your piece here. It's really good, and my new role as interim mental health champion to get a chance to speak to business leaders in Northern Ireland about what we need to do to look after ourselves and the people we work with.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant to have you. So congratulations on your appointment. Perhaps just give us a brief overview of the role and what you're hoping to achieve.
Okay, so the role is coming at a really good time because the government have set out their plan for addressing mental health in Northern Ireland, and the mental health strategy is being developed right now. So my role really has three components. I will be working with the government to make sure that mental health promotion and suicide prevention is embedded in all of the policies across all the government departments. So I'm funded across the government departments to do that. So I'll be working on certain projects there. I'll also be a voice for the people of Northern Ireland, and particularly people of Northern Ireland who before this didn't have a voice and had used mental health services. So it's about using their experiences and listening to their experiences and getting their views so that we can make the mental health services more responsive to meet their needs as well. And of course, the third part of my role is to be a facilitator of a big conversation around mental health in Northern Ireland and wellbeing generally, to talk about the ways that we can look after our own mental health. So I'm asking everyone to be a mental health champion for themselves, and also calling on people to connect with others to prevent suicide in this country. So it has those three roles. It's about working with the government, representing the population, and being part of a big conversation that we're all having right now about mental health and well-being.
Fantastic. Well, the best of luck in the endeavors, and we're here to help support you with your work. We're talking primarily to people involved in business on Business Bites. So, what should business leaders be looking out for when it comes to the mental health well-being of people who work with them?
Okay, well, if you think about it, it really we're all animals at the end of the day, and we exist in packs. And as a business leader, you are the leader of your pack. So the people that you work with, particularly your staff, will be looking to you for cues about when it's safe and whether or not they can reveal things about themselves and talk about their emotional well-being. So as pack leader, you need to set the tone and set the pace, and you've got to be as calm and collected as you can, and you've got to lead by example. So self-care is one of the most important elements of your role. You've got to look after yourself so that you can be able to work from a place of safe and social, and work out when people that you're working with are struggling so that you can help them, so that as a team you can all be productive. So your role's quite important there. And also, as a leader of a family, as a parent, it's the same idea. You must absolutely look after your mental health and model that so that people can look to you and see that you can express your vulnerability where that's appropriate, but also that you take care of yourself. And self-care is not about necessarily being indulgent. It can sometimes mean doing boring things like getting enough sleep and getting enough exercise and taking time out to look after your physical health. And these are all things that you should do for yourselves, and then make sure that the people that you work with are able to do that too and feel comfortable doing that. So I think that's one of the most important things you can do. And then within your workplace, I think it's so important that you have a system by which people who are struggling with their mental health and well-being are able to disclose that and get support at an early stage before these things become crisis situations. So you need to look at the amount of stress that your staff are under and how they're managing stress, and where that becomes too much, you're going to have to step in, because we know that stress leads to illness and it leads to mental illness. So you've got to really help your staff with stress management and making sure that you look after the stress levels of your staff.
Okay, great advice. What would be for those people who are perhaps not as tuned into the mental health issues of other individuals who perhaps never experienced mental health challenges themselves? What are some of the, if there are, classic warning signs in people that they're experiencing difficulties? How would we see that?
Well, the body reacts to stress in a way, in the same way that an animal reacts to stress. We become frightened, fearful. We get into a state of high alert. So getting angry, reactive, just the opposite of that calm and composed and safe and social way of being. So when people are under pressure, they don't work well for a start, and we know that. But they may also withdraw because they're fearful for themselves. It's a state of fear, so they may not open up. They may shut down, they may withdraw, and sometimes taking time off or being unproductive at work can be a sign that that person's simply under too much pressure. So people are reluctant to disclose this stuff because of all sorts of stigmas around maybe feeling that this is a weakness, which it's not. So it's important that we're able to open up a space at work where people can have those conversations and talk about the pressure that we're under, and we're all under pressure, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, absolutely not. But whenever the pressure becomes too much to cope with, then I think it's important that we step in and look at how we're looking after our mental and physical health there. And of course, we're in a very difficult time now with a pandemic, and lots of people are struggling with their home life as well, with homeschooling, with looking after families, and it's very uncertain times. So you will find that members of your members of your staff, your workplace community, will be struggling and will feel anxious because of the circumstances that we're all in. So we need to be able to talk about that. I think the communication is vital, because the best way to problem solve is to share it with others and let others help you solve your problems and work out ways around things. It's when people shut down and they turn into themselves, and when they're in that state of fight or flight, they can't look and see other options. So this is where suicidal thoughts, suicidal feelings can sometimes happen. So it's really important that we keep talking about this stuff.
Great. Thanks for the insight. Is there a resource, or is there somewhere that perhaps if a business, it might be an SME, perhaps doesn't feel it's got the resource to adequately deal with these type of situations should they arise? Is there a resource that people can look at or go to find out more information or get some advice?
There's a number of different resources available within Northern Ireland. Our two leading mental health charities are Action Mental Health and Inspire, and both of those charities offer support to workplaces. For example, Action Mental Health run the mindful manager workshop. It's really good way of helping managers navigate what is sometimes very difficult and new territory for them. And also then Inspire offer very good support there too. The mindingyourhead.info website is a mine of information there on supports available in Northern Ireland for all sorts of mental health and well-being related issues. And we have the 24-hour suicide prevention helpline, Lifeline, and of course Samaritans are always available for anyone who wants to talk about the stress and the pressure that they're under, or suicidal thoughts and feelings too.
Thanks, Siobhan. We're coming to the end of Business Bites. I know briefly you wanted to speak about Suicide Prevention Day. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, Thursday, the 10th of September 2020 is World Suicide Prevention Day, and it's a day when we remember those who have died by suicide worldwide, but also we remind ourselves of the importance of connecting with others to prevent suicide. We know when people feel supported, they can get through those suicidal thoughts. So it's important to watch out for other people, because it can be so hard for someone to say that they're suicidal. So it's important that we ask those questions and that we get people to the right sources of help. So that would be through the GP or through Lifeline or something like that. So we all need to connect to have those conversations.
Siobhan, we're here to support you at Bauer Media Northern Ireland in your work, and we wish you the very best of luck with it. And thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you so much, David.